Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and Happy New Year to all of you, and thank you for your support and love. So here's something that's been bugging me lately, and I know I'm not the only one who's thought about this. We've all seen Mace Windu ignite that beautiful purple blade in Attack of the Clones, right? But have you ever stopped to wonder why the Sith absolutely despise that color? I'm talking about a hatred that runs deeper than their dislike for Jedi in general. Today, we're going to explore why purple lightsabers represent everything the Sith stand against. And trust me, it goes way beyond just the color wheel, because what we uncover might change how you see that iconic duel between Mace and Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith. All right, let's start with the basics. In the Star Wars universe, lightsaber colors aren't just random choices for visual flair. They mean something. Blue typically represents Jedi Guardians who focus on combat and protection. Green belongs to the consulars, those who are more attuned to the Force and prefer diplomacy. And red? Well, that's the Sith through and through. Passion, rage, and power, corrupted through the bleeding of kyber crystals. But purple? Purple is where things get really interesting. Think about it for a second. What happens when you mix blue and red together? You get purple. And that's exactly what makes the Sith so uncomfortable. Purple represents something they fundamentally reject: balance. Now, before anyone jumps into the comments, I know some of you are thinking, Lee, but doesn't balance mean using both light and dark equally? Not exactly. The purple lightsaber doesn't mean its wielder is half Jedi, half Sith. Instead, it represents someone who walks dangerously close to the edge, someone who can peer into the darkness without being consumed by it. And for the Sith, that's basically an insult to everything they believe in. So let's talk about the man himself, Mace Windu. Samuel L. Jackson specifically requested that purple lightsaber so he could spot himself in the Battle of Geonosis. But George Lucas and the writers ran with it and gave it real meaning. And boy, did they deliver. Mace Windu created his own lightsaber form called Vaapad, which is a variant of Form 7. Now, Form 7, originally known as Juyo, was actually banned the Jedi Council. Why? Because it required practitioners to tap into their emotions, their aggression, their inner darkness. Sound familiar? Yeah, it's basically the Sith's favorite fighting style. Darth Maul used it, the Grand Inquisitor used it, even Palpatine himself favored this form. But here's where Mace Windu pulled off something absolutely incredible. He took this forbidden form and modified it. Vaapad doesn't just channel your own darkness. It actually creates what Windu called a superconducting loop. Imagine this. When facing a dark side user, a Vaapad practitioner absorbs their opponent's hatred, their rage, their killing intent, and then redirects it back at them. It's like using a Sith's own power against them, which is just chef's kiss. The thing is, Vaapad is insanely dangerous. Mace Windu's partner in developing this form, a Jedi Master named Sora Bulk, actually fell to the dark side because he couldn't control it. Even Windu's own Padawan, Depa Billaba, struggled with it. Mace Windu was essentially the only person who truly mastered Vaapad without being corrupted. And that purple blade was a constant reminder of just how close he walked to that edge. Think about what that means for a second. Every time a Sith saw that purple lightsaber, they were looking at someone who could touch their power, understand their strength, but ultimately reject their philosophy. That's gotta sting. Okay, so now we get to the heart of it. Why do the Sith hate purple lightsabers so much? First off, it challenges their entire worldview. The Sith believe in absolutes. You're either strong or you're weak. You embrace the dark side completely or you're a fool clinging to the light. There is no middle ground in their philosophy. The rule of two isn't about balance. It's about pure, concentrated power, passing from master to apprentice. A purple lightsaber, though, it represents something the Sith can't comprehend: restraint. It says, I can access this power, but I choose not to be consumed by it. For beings who define themselves by complete surrender to passion and hate, that's not just confusing, it's offensive. There's also a practical reason. Ancient Sith lore actually mentions purple as being the second acceptable color for the Sith, way back in the old days. But they hated it even then. Why? Because a Sith wielding a purple blade was usually a former Jedi. It marked them as someone who had turned from the light. And in the Sith hierarchy, that made you a target. You weren't born into the darkness. You were a convert. And converts, as the Sith saw it, could always convert back. Look at Darth Revan, for example. In Knights of the Old Republic, when he's rediscovering himself, caught between his Jedi past and Sith identity, what does he wield? A purple lightsaber. Perfect symbolism for his internal conflict. Then there's Darth Treya, who used 3 purple lightsabers simultaneously through the Force. She rejected both Jedi and Sith philosophies, seeing flaws in both. The Sith absolutely despised her for it. But here's what really gets under the Sith's skin. When a Jedi uses a purple lightsaber, especially someone like Mace Windu, they're essentially saying, I've seen what you have to offer, and I'm choosing something better. That is the ultimate rejection of Sith power. Now, let's talk about that confrontation in Revenge of the Sith, because it hits different when you understand all this context. When Mace Windu faces off against Palpatine, he's not just another Jedi trying to stop a Sith Lord. He's wielding a form specifically designed to counter the dark side. That purple blade isn't just deflecting Palpatine's Force lightning. It's literally feeding off Palpatine's own dark side energy and throwing it back at him. The more powerful Palpatine's attack becomes, the stronger Mace's defense gets. And here's something wild. Many sources, including George Lucas himself, have confirmed that Mace actually won that duel. He legitimately defeated one of the most powerful Sith Lords in history. Sure, Palpatine was probably playing up his weakness to manipulate Anakin, but the fact remains. Mace disarmed him, had him at blade point, and was ready to end it. But notice what happens in that moment. Mace says Palpatine is too dangerous to be left alive. Sound familiar? That's the exact same logic Palpatine used earlier when Anakin killed Count Dooku. Mace, in his use of Vaapad, had absorbed so much of Palpatine's dark side energy that it actually influenced his judgment. Even in victory, the danger of that purple blade was evident. So there you have it, friends. The Sith hate purple lightsabers because they represent everything they're not: discipline, restraint, and the ability to resist the dark side's corruption. It's a reminder that power doesn't have to come with a price, and that walking the edge doesn't always mean falling off. What do you think? Would you want to wield a purple lightsaber, knowing the risks and the responsibility that comes with it? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this, hit that like button and subscribe for more Star Wars content. May the Force be with you. Always.